possessed by an evil entity or demon that calls himself Slim Shady. As crazy as it might sound to some people, there is actually a lot of proof, no pun intended, that can back up these claims, including Eminem himself.
I reached a point where my daughter was born where I didn't give anymore. I didn't care. I just was like, I was fed up with so much that I knew I had a baby on the way that before she was born, and once she was born, I couldn't afford to buy diapers. I couldn't afford to do anything. I lost my job. I was working different jobs, temporary service, all kinds of jobs just to try and make ends meet. Didn't have anything, got evicted from the house I was
Nigga, got evicted. Goddamn. You know what, bro? Why? Why? When has Eminem ever fucking talked about being evicted? You know what? I'm fucking done.
Everyday life struggle as a young white kid in Detroit. Eminem decided to himself that he would absolutely do anything to make it, including unleashing his dark side and selling his soul for fame and riches. On his next album, The Good Kid Marshall was no more, and the evil spirit known as Slim Shady was now in full control. When it comes to the evil demonic spirit known as Slim Shady, many people might write it off as just being a persona that Eminem created to have an excuse to say all the wicked and evil things he raps about in his music. But when it comes down to it, Eminem himself lets his fans and listeners know that this just simply isn't the case. The very first track of the Slim Shady EP makes it clear that Eminem is being hunted and possessed by this evil entity. Although at this point in his life, Eminem doesn't verbally admit that he's being possessed, by listening to the intro track of the Slim Shady EP, it is blatantly obvious for anyone who is truly paying attention. But if that isn't enough evidence for you, then we should only need to reference you to another song Eminem created as a bonus track for his Relapse album, titled My Darling. On this track, you can once again hear the demonic spirit known as Slim Shady speaking to Eminem. As Eminem tries to fight off this spirit on this song, which is a back and forth conversation between Marshall and Slim Shady, at one point Eminem gets frustrated and he shoots the mirror in an attempt to kill the evil entity. Eminem then says, "Okay, I'm still alive." The demonic spirit Slim Shady then replies, "So am I too. You can't kill a spirit, even if you tried to. You sold your soul to me. Need I remind you? You remember that night you prayed to God. You give anything to get a record deal. Well, Dre signed you." Eminem also says on this song that the dark shall emerge from the fiery depths of hell, then swallow the shell, all the hollow who dwell in the shadows of all who are willing to sell their soul for this rap game. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That ain't the hook. Now follow me. For those who didn't catch that, 1, 2, 3 equals the number 6. So by Eminem saying 1, 2, 3 3 times, he is actually saying 666. This is Eminem's clear way of letting you know how he sold his soul and how you can do the same, which is why he says, "Follow me." When it comes to demonic celebrities who possibly sold their souls, many people think of artists like Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and Rick Ross, but a lot of people have forgot about Dre. Artist, record producer, and entrepreneur Andre Young is directly responsible for giving Eminem a platform which bolstered his rap career to new heights. It doesn't take much research to discover the horrifying satanic truth about the evil doctor. Dr. Dre has not only been exposed by one of the greatest rappers of all time, Tupac Shakur, aka Machiavelli, but he has also exposed himself in his own music throughout the years. Before and after the death of Machiavelli, many artists who were signed to Death Row went their own way, including Dr. Dre. Many theorists, myself included, believes that the East Coast versus West Coast rap feuds was secretly about the Illuminati taking over hip-hop. Many East Coast rap artists were already sold out or willing to sell out to the Illuminati, while many West Coast rap artists wanted to remain independent from the Illuminati, who wanted to control and change rap music forever. Unfortunately, Dr. Dre was more than willing to completely sell out to the Illuminati, which is the primary reason why Machiavelli decided to take shots at the Doctor on his last album, which he titled The Don Illuminati, putting a K in front of the Illuminati, meaning kill the Illuminati. On the fourth track, To Live and Die in LA, which was also one of the singles for the album, Machiavelli, formerly known as Tupac, can be heard saying, California Love, Part 2, without Dre. This statement alone may not mean much to the average listener, but when you consider the fact that the Don Illuminati album was Machiavelli's last album, which he created to go after every artist he probably believed to be down with the Illuminati, including Jay-Z, Nas, and P. Diddy, along with the questionable interview Suge Knight did on the Howard Stern show, which revealed some shocking information about Tupac and Dr. Dre, the picture becomes a lot clearer.
He basically put a straight on it. Who did this? Dre, Andre. And only people I know you put a straight on against somebody unless it's a battered woman, like a wife, a baby mama. I didn't know a so-called gangster rapper would go put a straight on against another man.
Right. It's very good because I know the way
Is
that.
that what you're saying he's gay?
But I'm saying he's gay because there was a guy named Bruce. They've been sleeping together for years.
Oh.
And we had a meeting. We used to have these meetings in the red room, right? And once we had these meetings, we used to put everything on the table. Everybody had some drinks, and wasn't nobody lying. If anybody gets caught lying, there was always a consequence.
Right.
So Tupac stood up and said, I'm tired of this, Dre, you fact. Dre said, first of all,
Right.
I'm not a, he's okay with then you're homosexual. He said, I'm not a homosexual.
These
I'm
meetings-
bisexual.
These meetings are
So
something
he said,
else.
you're bisexual. He said, see, that's another thing I don't want to do. I don't want to be doing songs with a guy who's pounding other guys in the butt. then Dre said, Pac, I thought you were smart. You're still dumb. If I want to pound some butt, I can do a woman. I'm a bisexual because I like to get my cheekbones do it. I like to get pounded with my.
Oh my.
Well, let me just say, let me say something about this meeting because you're bringing us into the inner workings of a record company. A lot of people aren't used to this.
Really?
A lot of us live normal lives.
Old money, but they wasn't paying it. You know what I'm saying? I think they were trying to starve me out. As hard as you work for your money, there's at least 2 or 3 people out there working just as hard to get it from you.
I was there when Dre told me he would sell his soul to the devil for $1 million. I swear right now, the devil gotta have receipts for that. If there was ever a doubt in your mind that Eminem sold his soul for fame and riches, then all you have to do is study his lyrics. Eminem has some of the darkest and eeriest lyrics I've ever heard come from the mouth of any rapper. Marshall has not only admitted he sold his soul in several of his songs, but he is also known for rapping about some of the most twisted and bizarre satanic things that are so bad that YouTube would never let any of his content creators repeat it. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to if I could. So what I will do is share some of the creepiest lyrics I've heard Eminem say. But trust me, the lyrics I share with you today are only the tip of the iceberg. Eminem's lyrics go deeper and darker than what I'm about to share with everyone. There are many Eminem songs and lyrics that I can share that would instantly prove that Marshall Mathers sold his soul to the devil. Mostly because Eminem never hides the fact that he has done so. He just comes right out and says it. Like the song, Say Goodbye to Hollywood, which featured on his album, The Eminem Show. In this song, Eminem raps these lyrics. It's like the boy in the bubble who never could adapt. I'm trapped. If I could go back, I never would have rapped. I sold my soul to the devil. I'll never get it back. I just want to leave this game with level head intact. In another Eminem song, which is an unreleased track called Demons Inside, Eminem raps about being possessed by demons and making a deal with the devil. He starts off by saying, I'm possessed by evil demons that torture me while I'm sleeping. I keep dreaming of death and I'm hearing people screaming. The devil's spirit is trapped inside me and I want it out. I'm on the couch bleeding to death in a haunted house. Eminem finishes this short song with these creepy lyrics. It got silent. Then all these voices said, come follow me into the gates of hell. I heard him yell, welcome to the Norman Bates Motel. I ring the bell for service and I was greeted by his mother, covered in dry blood, head still dented from the shovel. I said I need a room so I can try to get some rest. She gave me the keys to the best suite and a bag of cess and told me that's just for starters. Satan will be in to see me later to see if I'm interested in being a partner. If you think this song
You're saving cats from trees. But you think Sophia is a cat in a tree? Man, don't twist my words. How many times we get caught up looking for a missing child, man? You got 72 hours after that, you're looking for a body. Hours before. You honestly think we're just gonna find Sophia alive? Who's mad, man? Alive or not, Sophia, she only matters to the degree where she don't drag the rest of us down. Thought you wanted honest. I think it's time we all start to just consider the other possibility of not getting Sophia alive. Close by this dog, goddamn dog. No, that's what you did. You found a dog. Not the head of the dog. I'm just saying what needs to be said here. You get a good lead in the first minute out. We have that.
Jesus Christ, Farley.
If she was alive out there, saw you coming, all meant out with your plug knot, deep ears right your neck, she would run in the other direction. Yeah, you're right, man. That is enough.
Oh.
Astonishing.
In the music video, and then he works his way. Gambino showed up in his suit, rocking the Illuminati pyramid with the all-seeing eye in it. He showed up rocking the one eye, the Mon Eye. And he's also seen in a photograph throwing up the 666 hand sign. Now the first thing the sheep will say is this hand sign is the OK sign, not the 666 sign. But what y'all don't understand is what I explained at the beginning of this video is everything has a double meaning, okay? There is a double meaning to that hand sign. It's not just the OK sign. That's what they want you to think. Oh yeah, it's just okay. No, that's not what it is. They are pledging allegiance to their master, Lucifer. Understand that. So Uncle Ruckus, Childish Gambino, is only showing y'all that he is an Illuminati puppet, and he's willing to do whatever his master says. That's how they serve their master. You know, when their master gets sick, they say, "Oh, boss, we sick. You know, that's how attached to their masters they are. Now, am I calling Childish Gambino and Uncle Tom? No, that's not what I'm doing. But he's definitely playing that role in this music video. And the reason why he's playing that role is because he is a puppet, okay? He may not have the qualities of an Uncle Tom person, the personality, but he is a puppet for his Illuminati masters. And that is the message of this one little symbol right here, just this one thing. We ain't even broke fully into the full video yet, but we about to move forward right now, and it's about to get real graphic. So just giving y'all another warning, because this next scene is very symbolic and relates to what I'm saying right now. Now, if you observe at the beginning of the video, there's a man sitting in a chair playing the guitar. This man's name is Calvin C. Winbush II. A lot of people thought this man looked eerily similar to Trayvon Martin's dad, which he does, which is really very symbolic in itself. But this man sitting in the chair actually symbolizes the beginning of black music, black culture in America. and how we rose up to where we are now in hip hop. And you see that when Donald Glover begins to dance in the music video, and then he works his way to the man sitting in the chair, and then by the time he gets to the man sitting in the chair, he actually is now tied up and his face is covered, and Donald Glover blows his head off with a gun. Now this actually represents the killing of hip-hop, the end of hip-hop, and its transition into what we have now, what it is now, which is controlled music by the Illuminati, which is controlled music by the elite. And the takeover of hip-hop happened way back like in 96 when they had the East Coast versus West Coast thing going on, Biggie versus Tupac, Death Row versus Bad Boy. And what we have today is now music being controlled by the Illuminati. And hip-hop was the last genre of music to be fully taken over. And so that's what we have. That's what we see now. And that's what Donald Glover is showing us now, that this is America, a place where we accept controlled music, controlled thought, controlled programming.
An interesting new allegation has just surfaced of somebody that claims to have been at a secret meeting back in 1991 where they say that essentially the Illuminati sort of commissioned the hip-hop industry to promote gangster rap and just these garbage thug images as a way to try to influence and encourage crime to benefit the private prison industry, right?
As we take a deeper look, we have even more evidence that suggests that this man in the chair represents the capture and killing of hip-hop, and that Childish Gambino is a willing servant of his Illuminati masters sent to assassinate hip-hop as we know it today. When he assassinates hip-hop, or the man in the chair, his pose was reminiscent of a man named Thomas D. Rice. Rice was an American performer and playwright who performed blackface and used African-American vernacular speech, song, and dance to become one of the most popular minstrel show entertainers of his time. He is considered the father of minstrelsy. His acts drew on aspects of African American culture and popularized them with a national and later international audience. Rice's Jim Crow's persona was an ethnic depiction in accordance with contemporary Caucasian ideals of African Americans and their culture.
Let's talk a little bit about the origin of the word Jim Crow before we go into kind of the concept of de jure and de facto segregation. Jump Jim Crow was an old song and dance routine that originated in 1828, which was written by a white comedian by the name of T.D. Daddy Rice, who would perform in blackface, basically to make fun of slaves.
Wheel about and turn about and you just know. Every time I wheel about, I jump Jim Crow.
The term Jim itself is short for Jimmy, like I'm going to Jimmy a lock, and that was a crowbar. So a crowbar in the 1800s was sometimes called a Jim or a Jimmy. And then, of course, crow itself was used as a term for blacks as early as the 1700s. In terms of jump Jim Crow, farmers used to feed their crows corn-soaked whiskey. Then the crows would get drunk and kind of dance around, not being able to fly as the farmers kind of beat the crows to death. So there's multiple meanings behind the term Jim Crow. They all refer in a negative connotation to slaves and to freedmen, to blacks.
See, back in the day, minstrelsy was a dance that distracted white Americans from the pain and horrors of what was being done to African Americans. And now today in hip hop, dancing is used as a tool to distract us from what is going on not only here in America, but also in black communities across America. Hip hop today makes us uniformly ignore the globalist agenda. After killing hip hop, Childish Gambino goes on to say that this is America, meaning that this is what we have done or allowed to happen here in America. That's why it's so symbolic that he begins dancing and rapping like a new age rapper of today. These current artists like Young Thug, Migos, Kodak Black, and more have America under mind control while chaos erupts in America. We just keep on dancing and singing. That's why most people who see this video have to watch it multiple times because it's difficult to notice all the things taking place in the background of the music video because
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Are we pissing our pants yet? You motherfuckers. You can breathe. You can blink. You can fucking cry. I would. Oh hell, you're all gonna be doing that.
general has fallen away from God. In the Holy Bible, Matthew 24 describes exactly what I feel is going on today. Matthew 24 describes what signs we need to look for so we know when the return of the true Messiah, Jesus Christ, or Yeshua, will be and when the end of the world is upon us. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Jesus answered, watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nations will rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. At that time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. How can you read this and not see that the days Jesus spoke of are here now? When Childish Gambino killed the church choir, he was showing the killing of his own faith. Notice how when he walks into the room, he's happy, he dances in seriously, enjoying the church choir. Then he goes to being silly to looking very bored before killing the church or godliness in his music. This scene represents how people went from loving the gospel to not taking it too seriously, really just being silly in faith or lukewarm, to just turning away from faith, period. Putting your beliefs, faith, and spirituality behind you and never looking back. Notice how we didn't see the bodies of the people in the choir get cleaned up like the man in the chair. I believe this was done on purpose to emphasize that faith can be killed and no one cares. Hip-hop, the music itself, is more important to the people than the Most High. Now, I briefly want to talk about the part of the song where Childish Gambino says, this is a celly, that's a tool. On the surface, people interpret it as him saying, we now live in a time where we can use our phones to capture things like police brutality, and in hindsight, he is. But this part also has a double meaning. I also believe this scene is bringing awareness, or should bring awareness, to people that we aren't using our devices as a resourceful tool, but for more like foolishness. That is why the kids in this scene seem to be zoned out into their phones and are practically ignoring all the chaos going on around them. They're probably on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. This part, in my opinion, is also biblical. And 2 Timothy reflects what the whole music video is about and what America is about today. 2 Timothy says, people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people. They are the kind who worm their way into homes and gain control over gullible women, who are loaded down with sins and are swayed by all kinds of evil desires, always learning but never able to come to a knowledge of the truth.
The book of Revelation in the Bible contains many intriguing visions. One of them is in chapter 6. There the Apostle John is shown 4 mounted horses that gallop into view. The first horse is white, the second is red, the third is black, and the fourth is pale. What do these 4 horses represent? I believe the answer lies in what Jesus Christ told his disciples about the end time. In order to see clearly what the first horse, the white one, represents, we will start with the last horse and work back to the first. Concerning the 4th horse, the Apostle John wrote, I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him. The power was given to them over the fourth of the earth to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and by the beasts of the earth. When the text says people will be killed with death, the Greek word translated death appears to refer to deadly diseases, in other words, pestilences. In Matthew 24, Jesus spoke of the end time and said, there will be pestilences. Here Jesus highlighted one of the causes of people being killed by the emergence of the 4th horse. Let's take a look at the 3rd horse. John wrote, I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. A pair of scales indicates scarcity of food. An illustration of this can be seen in the book of Leviticus, with the Lord pronounced, when I have cut off your supply of bread, they shall bring back your bread by weight, and you shall eat and not be satisfied. The next verse in Revelation 6 says, and I heard a voice saying, a quart of wheat for a denarius. A quart of wheat equals a daily ration for one person. And at the time of the Apostle John, a denarius was 1 day's wage for an average worker. The voice John heard was saying that a day's ration of basic food would cost the equivalent of an average worker's entire daily wage. Such hyperinflation follows a dreadful famine. Just before mentioning pestilences, Jesus said, there will be famines. This shows that what Jesus pointed to here matches the 3rd horse. Let's now look at the 2nd horse. John recorded, another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, that people should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. The imagery of a sword indicates war. This is illustrated in the book of Isaiah, where it says, your men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty in the war. War will therefore take peace from the earth. Just before Jesus mentioned famines, he said, you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. We see here that what Jesus says lines up with the 2nd horse. There remains the 1st horse. John wrote, I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. In the time of John, a Roman general ride on a white horse when returning from victory. The white horse is therefore a symbol of conquest. The white colour will not portray anything good or pure. The horseman's crown that was given to him is a symbol of authority, and the bow the rider on the white horse has in his hand is a symbol of might. An example of this can be seen in the book of Hosea, where the Lord says, I will break the bow of Israel, meaning the might of Israel. The horseman holding the bow has presumably arrows with him too. The book of Jeremiah speaks of armies that hold a bow. Obviously having a bow implies having arrows too. In the New Testament, believers are commanded to take the shield of faith, with which they will be able to quench all the fiery darts of Satan. These darts are shot from his bow. Thus the bow in the hand of the horseman can be seen as a symbol of Satan's might.
So as we can see, the rider of this white horse seems to be the Antichrist. And the Antichrist is coming in the last days to deceive everybody. This is how we know Childish Gambino is showing us the last days throughout this whole video. He's laying it all out for us in front of our own eyes. And we have to open our eyes and see this, okay? Because this is exactly what's going on right now in America. And God will bring judgment to America. Understand that. And as in the days of Noah, or as in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, we see that we will be still dancing, still having fun, still partying, still drinking, still sinning in so many different ways, and ignoring the fact that the end is here. It is upon us. Okay? We have to wake up and start realizing and watching for the signs as the Lord commanded us to do. Because the end is here. And this is what Childish Gambino is telling you. And now real quick, before I end this video, I just want to point out one more thing. This scene at the very end where you see Childish Gambino running away from people, that symbolizes him running away from America. That symbolizes him getting out of America. And he's telling us that's what we should do. We should do that ASAP. We should get out of America. Now, is getting out of America going to help? No, because you, no matter where you are in the world, can escape God's wrath. Okay? But that's what all these rich people are doing now. You can go look it up. The elite are packing up and shipping out, and they're moving all their stuff and their families and their homes and their money all to New Zealand. Okay? So we need to understand that this symbolic message of what Gambino is telling us is that God will bring judgment on America first. We know